What's up, gamers? This is the Russian Reversal here to talk about some DIY projects I have. I had a huge backlog of DIY projects for fixing consoles and fixing games, and I recently acquired several more consoles from Japan on the cheap. So I'm going to go through and we're going to talk about what consoles I have, what I think is the issues with them, and then we'll talk about what projects we want to do next. So give a comment. I really want to hear what you have to say and see if there's any particular consoles you're having trouble with and if you'd like me to show you how to fix them. Here is the box of 3 consoles that I recently acquired. So first we have the Super Famicom, which is a Japanese version of the Super Nintendo. It does have some yellowing, didn't come with cables, but I already have those, so that's not an issue. I got this for, I want to say it was about $7, so a pretty good deal if I could get this guy working. It looks like it has some yellowing. The case needs some repair. It probably needs a cleaning on the inside. Next we have the Wonderswan, and honestly this doesn't look like it's in bad shape. It won't turn on, but you need a game to put in, and I don't have a game. It also looks like it just needs some cleaning and maybe a screen replacement. It's got some scratches on the screen that you can probably see right there. So this one should also be a fairly easy fix. I think there was some issues with the pandemic, but also have a Wonderswan color coming in, so it's basically the equivalent of Game Boy and a Game Boy Color. And interestingly enough, this was designed by Gunpei Yokoi when he left Nintendo, and he originally created the Game Boy. So the PSP, this is a PlayStation handheld. Basically, it's a PS2 in your pocket. This was about $9, which is pretty cool. I think it just looks really cool. It might need a replacement though, because the screen looks a little scuffed up. It won't turn on, and apparently there's some issues with the UMD discs in the drive, so I'll have to take a look. I'm not as familiar with this one, so this will be a little bit more of an experiment on my part. But honestly, this looks so cool and was so cheap, I had to pick it up. So that was the PSP. I'll also have to pick up some games for it as well, so I can test this out properly. My next project is the Game Boy Advance SP. Well, I just got this really cool aftermarket shell, so I will be replacing this shell with this one. Plastic isn't quite as good, but I just think the design is really cool, so I'm looking forward to it. The other issue, and this is why I haven't finished this yet, is I might need a glass screen just because I think it looks better, and then also it needs a new screen as well. So I was going to get an IPS screen. Those take a while because I do get them from China, and they can take up to a month or 2 to get. This is an Atari Lynx 2, so this is the second version of the Atari Lynx. I got a pretty good deal on this one. I think I picked it up for $35–40. The console itself is actually a little on the pricey side, but the games are really cheap, and you can actually find some that are still in the box for some reason. So I picked this up. I'm going to get a new IPS screen for it, so it's backlit because it's not backlit. Back in the day, they didn't backlit anything. And I think this might need new capacitors, because back in the 90s, there's a lot of issues with capacitors. So you'll have to get some replacement ones for that, but should be a solid fix. Also, we'll get a new screen for it because the plastic on here is a little scuffed up. Here we have the Geo Pocket Color. This is SNK's answer to the Game Boy Color. This was not as common in the States as it is in Japan. It's pretty cool because SNK, if you're not familiar with them, do Metal Slug, Samurai Showdown, Fatal Fury, those kind of games. I recently did an unboxing of the Neo Geo Mini, so good way to play some Neo Geo games. This one has some significant yellowing though. It's supposed to be this blue color, but now it's kind of green because the yellow and blue make green. Also, the screen might need a replacement because it does have some scuff marks on it. I cleaned it up a little bit, so it's not too bad, not super urgent. Main issue, however, is it still won't quite turn on, and the reason for that is probably capacitors, so I have to replace the capacitors on this guy. So this is my last console DIY project. This is the PlayStation 3, and so keep in mind, this is the original, so the model number on this one is CECHA01. This is the original, and the cool thing about the original is that it is hardware backwards compatible, which means it has the hardware to run PlayStation, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games. The issue with this one, though, is that the thermal paste on this was terrible, and this console overheats. So it has the yellow ring of death. I got this for 20 bucks, which is a pretty good deal considering what its potential is. In order to fix this, I'll have to disassemble, and then I will have to apply thermal paste to the CPU and GPU in the hopes that that will fix the issue. I also got a better fan. I have a 19 blade fan. The original has a 15 blade fan, so keep that in mind as well. The 15 blade fan doesn't push out as much air as the 19 blade. The other thing, and this is the last thing I need to acquire before I can work on this project, is I need a newer PlayStation 3 power supply. The main issue with the PlayStation, this particular model, is the power supply is super inefficient, runs really hot. So I'll replace that as well and hope those three things will fix this issue, because it would be great to be able to stream through HDMI PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, which I have a few of. And so I think that would be really great for the channel. This one is a challenge though, because that might not necessarily fix the issue. The last resort would be delidding it, the CPU and the GPU. And what that means is that you'll have to take the CPU and GPU off the motherboard and then resolder them back on with new thermal paste. The problem with that is it's really easy to damage the CPU, the motherboard, or the GPU during that process, so that's going to be a last resort. This one will probably be a DIY project that I procrastinate the most on just because it's so time intensive. So I'm currently in school right now, so I'll have to find some time when I'm not fully invested in school. That's all my console DIY projects. I have a few minor ones for games, and it's replacing the batteries. So I need to replace batteries on my Pokemon games. So Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Sapphire, a couple of other Pokemon games. I also need to replace the battery on my Final Fantasy NES game. This is fairly easy. All you need is some minor soldering skills. I don't have fantastic soldering skills, but I have enough to fix them. So I will show you how to do that in a later video. I want to give a little bit of a transition between an unboxing and a DIY video. So let me know what you think. Would you like me to show you how to replace the battery? And actually probably the Game Boy as well start with. I could also do NES or the Game Boy Advance. So give a comment below. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Hopefully I don't seem like a crazy person. I just acquired a lot of these on the cheap, and now I have some free time to do them, and I really want to share this with you in future content. I'll also be working on some reviews as well, so take a peek. And if you're interested in how long these last, I actually had a Game Boy game, Pokemon Yellow, that still works with the original battery, and I bought it the day it launched. You can check out that video right over here. You can also check out my unboxing videos over here, and click the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Wednesday.